morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to the pilot episode of the Start Virtual series. I have here one of the OGs of Start Virtual, Tony Counts.
Hey, welcome to our pilot episode of the Start Virtual podcast. So excited to be here. Thank you, Daryl, for joining me. And let's get started.
Awesome. And my name is Daryl. I'm a co-founder of Start Virtual, and we're here because we are thrilled to share some of our success stories, best practices, and there's definitely going to be a lot of value from what we will be sharing in each and every episode that we'll be having here. So, let's get started. Let's talk about first what Start Virtual is all about. What do we do basically as a business, and talk more about our virtual assistant services and bookkeeping services that Tony will be talking more about in a bit. So, we are offering solutions to small and medium-sized businesses from, all the virtual assistant services, anything that you can do remotely, basically. Any tasks like admin tasks, appointment setting, even customer service, sales, and our biggest headcount that we have on our clients is our bookkeeping services. Do you want to talk more about our bookkeeping services?
Absolutely. I love talking about bookkeeping. So we have a bookkeeping service through Start Virtual, and the purpose of having the bookkeeping service through virtual assistants at Start Virtual is so that bookkeeping can be affordable for any business owner. One of the biggest misconceptions I get from business owners is that they think that bookkeeping is like this huge expense that their business is just not ready for at that moment. But we have so many different offers for bookkeeping, whether you're just getting started or you're a seasoned business owner with multiple businesses, lots of activity. We have offers that fit every situation that you're currently in, because my main goal is to make sure that bookkeeping is accessible and affordable to every business owner, because I know the importance of having bookkeeping. It ties into everything that you do with your business as far as making crucial financial decisions. And it's also going to tie into having an accurate tax return for your personal taxes, which is super important. Nobody wants to be on the bad side with the IRS. So bookkeeping, it should be your number one priority for your business, especially as your business starts to grow. Oh, I know you have a very interesting story of how you actually got started with the whole idea of Start Virtual.
100%.
Every time I hear it, I'm just completely blown away by it. So I think our viewers want to hear how Start Virtual was even born, how it became a thought in your head and whoever else was involved with the production and creation of Start Virtual.
I love sharing that story as well, Tony. We started over 5 years ago. We did have a very small agency. Back then, I was working with one of our partners here, or co-founders as well, and I was a virtual assistant of him when I started. So I was doing lead management. I was nurturing all of his leads, and eventually I managed his team. He has a small team of about 3 to 4 virtual assistants, and what I was doing was just to make sure that there's quality on the leads that they're submitting. I audit them, and then I nurture them. I follow through with the clients. And then we realized that it's something that a lot of people are going to benefit from, right? If we are going to be able to offer a remote type of service, wherein you don't have to spend on the equipment. You don't have to spend on, whatever the rate was during that time of a local virtual assistant or someone who will be needing to work in an office, and all those office expenses at the same time. All the dramas even of hiring someone, right? So what if we can offer that and offer our team, and partner with any client or any entrepreneur who has a small to medium-sized business, and be able to provide them the staffing that they need without all of those hassles and all those overhead expenses that that are going to be required if you want to have a team of appointment setters. So that's how we started. We worked with real estate investors, right? And
Awesome.
Yeah, we were able to grow from just a few VAs in a very small apartment living room where about six of us were in there, and then we decided to
Wow.
make a remote thing here in the
And this
Philippines.
is actually the graveyard shift for you guys. So
And
that's
yes,
pretty impressive.
100%. I mean, Filipinos are very used to working the graveyard shift or the night shift because, as you know, we're the top business process outsourcing provider in the world. I would say majority of the Filipinos, that's the job that they're aiming for because it pays a little bit higher, and they're already used to working at nights. And the idea of working from home is something that's really interesting for them because
Right.
they get to do more, right? When they
Work-life
work from
balance.
home. So yeah, work and life balance, and at the same time, they're able to ensure that their family is safe and they can do other stuff in between. One of the biggest problems here in the Philippines is also traffic. The traffic jam is really the worst
Yeah,
here. So saving 2 to 4 hours every day of commute time is a huge deal for a lot
that's
of
big. Yeah.
Filipino workers.
Especially for somebody that has a family at home. You don't want to spend all your free hours in traffic.
Right. That's why everyone that you hire to work from home are really hungry to be successful and to keep their jobs so that they won't have to go back to the office anymore.
Exactly, for sure, definitely. Yeah, so I remember I was actually doing the bookkeeping for the founders
Yes.
back then when the whole idea of Start Virtual was created. And I remember seeing, that before Start Virtual was created, I saw the payments going to you under your
Mhm.
name. And I'm not gonna
Right.
lie, I came from corporate. So when I saw the IT at the end of your last name, I was like, oh, this is the IT guy. I didn't know, I had no idea what virtual assistants were. Like, I was still new to the whole, work from home real estate investing atmosphere. So I was still trying to get familiar with what I heard the term virtual assistant, but I really didn't know what a virtual assistant did. And I'm finding that that's common among people that I talk to here locally, people that I interact with. Like, when I throw out the term virtual assistant, they're like, what's that? So
Exactly.
yeah. So
It's one
yeah,
of
I
the
came
challenges
fresh
that
from
we had
corporate
as
and
well.
yeah.
Right. When we started, not everyone understood what, and we're even using the jargon VA, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yes, for
they
sure.
they yeah they don't get it right away. Like, what exactly does a virtual assistant do, and what how can it help me basically? And that's spreading awareness of the value of delegating your tasks that eats up most of your time that you can
Right.
delegate to someone remotely is something that we've been doing, and I think we did a very good job on, and has benefited a lot of businesses as well.
Absolutely. Like, what I really like the most about Start Virtual is the layered management. And I always explain that when I'm on my bookkeeping Zooms for Sub 2. I always like to explain that, I'm not just here to pair you up with a virtual assistant bookkeeper and just disappear. Like, I'm heavily involved in the whole bookkeeping department process, and I always explain our layered management. So your bookkeeper is going to come with a CSM. Your CSM has an SSM. We have a training and quality control team. So it's not just you and a bookkeeper. There's you and a bookkeeping team.
100%, because it's never easy to do it on your own.
Exactly.
So, and that's how we learned things, I would say, the hard way, and the early, or the early months that we were structuring our whole business model, basically. Because when we were starting, I mean, I personally started as the salesperson. I
Yeah.
did the onboarding. I did lead the team, same as what you did when you started the bookkeeping side of our services, right? So we had to learn all of this and realize that these are things that needs to be delegated to someone eventually so that we can
Sure.
continue to function and deliver. And that's what we're exactly offering right now, right? Multiple layers of support so that you can focus, or the business owner can focus on the most important aspect of their business, which is to help scale and grow that business to
Right.
the level that they want to grow. And we focus on the things that really eats up your time and is not worth the hours that you're spending in a daily, weekly, monthly basis. That's exactly where we're good at.
Yes. And I know that a lot of business owners struggle with delegation because honestly, I'm guilty of that myself. When I had started my own personal bookkeeping business prior to Start Virtual Bookkeeping, I was growing at a really fast rate. And there came a point where I actually started turning down clients. And that's just because I didn't know back then what I know now. I always thought in my head, like, how do people grow a business so large and, are not wearing themselves thin?
Right.
I thought that everything that I did, it was stored in my head for one. So I didn't really have like a clear system of documenting my processes. And so everything was in my head and I'm thinking like, how am I ever gonna have someone help me if I know everything? And it's going to be a learning curve to teach somebody. So it's going to create more work. I might as well just do it all. And I know a lot of business owners think like that. That's why Start Virtual, the way that we have it set up where all of our virtual assistants are already trained and managed by an internal manager, that kind of takes a little bit off of the plate as far as like what you have to do, as far as getting everything out of your head and having like that clear-cut process. Obviously, we're going to need to get familiar with your business first so that we know how things operate. But for the most part, going with a service like Start Virtual, where there's layered management internally, is going to be a huge relief for you because now you don't have to work one-on-one with this person and take up more of your time trying to teach somebody. And then let's say that person is not the right fit. So then you've got to start from square one and just do it all over again. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly what we don't want our clients to go through anymore, right? All the hardships and all the trials and errors, because we've gone through that, for the past 5 years. And I guess that's why we are continuously growing, because we've learned a lot from our own mistakes as well, or from the challenges that we had to experience. And we were able to really figure out what our wins were, what were working for us, that we should continue doing. What are the challenges that we've faced and how did we overcome those? Document it, create some standard operating procedures, and make sure that everyone's on the same page. So all of those things that we've learned for the past 5 years, we already have a structure, a process in place. And that's what we want our clients to experience, a really smooth operations with a structure, because, we already have all of those standard guidelines that we're already following. On top of that, you mentioned earlier about delegating, and it's really something that not everyone is comfortable to do. Even me when I was starting, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You will always feel like I'm only the best person who can do this because
Right.
I know
I've heard stories that you've said, when you would be watching somebody on the phone and then you would just have to
Right.
take it like, no, you're saying the wrong thing.
Exactly. Right. But yeah, we learned as well that I think the first thing that you really have to make sure of is that you're hiring someone who's qualified to be, interested with those tasks.
Exactly.
Delegate it to someone who has the skill set, who has the experience and the training, and those are the things that we make sure of. That's why when we try to understand the needs of our clients, we go through a very thorough discovery call and onboarding process with them. So we know what they're trying to achieve, what success looks like, what the pain points are that they've experienced in their business that they want to, change. And that's where we come in. We make sure that we give them options of virtual assistants who are going to be able to accomplish those tasks for them with quality. And we make sure that they're also provided additional training, because we have our in-house training team who does that really well. I would say we have a fantastic training team in here. Make sure that our virtual assistants and bookkeepers are really ready before working with a client, and they will definitely help achieve those goals that were set as early as the point of sale or the discovery call that we have with them. So yeah, definitely it's important that we hire the right people, and at the same time delegate the tasks that would match the skill set of those VAs that they hire, and we definitely assist in all of that. even on the up training. We're continuously developing our staff to make sure
Sure.
that, anything that's new, even, recently we had an AI training as well for
Nice.
our virtual
Yeah, it's
assistants.
important. It's very important. Yes,
Yeah, continuous growth and
for
upskilling
sure.
is definitely important, just to make sure that they stay relevant and
Right.
that they can help, with any new things that work or strategies that would work for our clients.
Right. So you mentioned that Start Virtual is 5 years old now, right?
More than, yeah, we're about to celebrate our 6th-year anniversary next year, Feb of next year. So super
Wow.
excited.
Yeah, so the bookkeeping, Start Virtual Bookkeeping will be 4 years old next month. So
There you
we
go.
kind of formed the bookkeeping side of Start Virtual about a year after Start Virtual was formed. And the good thing about that is that we got to learn off of all of the mistakes that you guys experienced in
Yes.
the real estate side. So that was a
Right.
really good thing for us because we already had the blueprint basically from the growth of the real estate side of Start Virtual. And then having all of the resources, the HR, the recruitment, the training, all of that has been such a huge impact of the from the growth of Start Virtual Bookkeeping. I remember when we started with actually, before we even had Start Virtual Bookkeeping, Pace wanted you to source a bookkeeper to help me with all of the books of Pace and Cody. So that one
Yes.
bookkeeper that we found was a gem. She was amazing, and I miss her so much.
I know.
But so she was able to catch on to everything I taught her super, super fast. Pace and Cody were super impressed with her. And then that's when we tossed around the idea, you know what? We could really help so many real estate investors afford bookkeeping by creating a bookkeeping service through Start Virtual. So once that seed was planted, we just kind of we had massive imperfect action. Cody was like, hey, have your VA start documenting everything she's doing for us. So I did that, and I still actually have those trainings that she created from way back. Oh my gosh, it's cute because now we are just so advanced. But so we had our first few hires. I think we hired 3 team members. So we started out with our original hire that helped me with Pace and Cody, and she basically trained them. And then from there, it just continued to grow and grow. I was heavily involved with all of the sales, onboarding, lead generation, client resolution, bookkeeper skill training, all of that for, I would say, at least for the first year. I mean, my calendar was so full from the time I woke up until 6 o'clock in the evening. And then on top of that, I was still managing my own bookkeeping service with a lot of my clients on the West Coast. I live in the East Coast, so that's 3 hours behind me. So after everything shut off with Start Virtual Bookkeeping, I still had things to do for my personal clients. So I was pulling 12-hour days sometimes longer.
Oh, God.
But honestly, that's what you have to do. If you're trying to grow something big, you're trying to do something, you want to make a change in your life, you have this idea,
Absolutely.
this goal, this vision, you have to put in the work. You have to have a season of outworking everybody around you. And I remember my family, my friends, they'd be like, oh, you work so much, you never come out of the
Right.
house, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm in grind mode right now.
100%.
How did your friends and family react when you were growing Start Virtual? Did you have the same feedback, people asking you,
Oh my God.
why are you working so much?
Yeah, I work from home, so I work almost 24/7. I'm available
Oh my
because,
God.
right? I mean, we were starting everything. What is a day off when you're doing that, right?
Right.
What is vacation leave? There's no such thing. What is
No.
a birthday or a reunion? No, I had to miss a lot of those when we were starting. But that's exactly what we don't want our clients to go through, that they miss important occasions, important, moments in their life, and that's exactly why we created our operating procedures. We created our processes so that things can be a little bit more seamless for them. And even if they're starting, they're not going to start from scratch because we already have a lot of best practices that we've learned from other clients as well that worked for them, that we also share, that adds a lot of value. Since here's our virtual, what's I would say distinct and what our clients love the most is that we have client success managers. It's like
Yes,
they
100%.
are the partners, literally they're partners to success,
Right,
because the client success managers are like leading the virtual assistants, making sure that whatever the goals are met, the tasks are done and are done properly and accurately. And they also work closely with the client. They're the point of contact basically to share what were accomplished, what the challenges are, and what help will we be needing. So they're in constant communication with both the virtual assistants, the bookkeepers, and the clients to ensure that we're not gonna we're not miss out on anything. We're on the same page with everything, and we are achieving our goals in a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So that's why it's very important to have that weekly meeting that we're recommending that we have with our clients. So, and yes, going back to your question, my family are a witness to all the grind that had to happen even on the weekends. Just, we're still building something, and you're right. If you're gonna take the business seriously, then you have to, really do everything that you can to make it work, right? And I
right.
guess that's what's good with what we have right now. And I can still remember, since you shared how you guys started and how the growth started to happen as well. I think it's also a matter of good timing. When we started this like more than 5 years ago, we never expected that the COVID-19 pandemic is gonna happen.
Yes, for sure.
Remember that? So when we were starting, we were surprised with how quick the growth was as well, because during that time the demand for virtual help or outsourcing in general, you know really boosted. And because that's a lot of our clients are not able to like go to their office
Mm-hmm.
or have their usual employees continue working for them in an office setup, and they had to make it work.
Right,
They have to make sure that someone can still follow up with these clients, and the struggle is, how can I monitor all of that remotely, right?
right.
And unfortunately, a lot of Filipino employees here lost their jobs as well because of the same reason, because of the lockdowns, right?
Yeah,
And it's a blessing that we were able to provide the opportunity to give people work while this
right.
whole pandemic thing is happening. And people are really hungry for success because they want to keep it that way, and they want to keep their jobs, continue to provide for their family even after losing their 9 to 5 jobs or their call center jobs even.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to provide or match them with the clients, and it's a blessing in disguise because we were
It
able
really is.
to help our clients and our virtual assistants land on an opportunity to continue earning for their family and providing for their family.
And honestly, that's like a really rewarding side of the business, is just seeing all the opportunity that we're able to provide to everybody,
Right.
not only our clients, but also our staff, because they get to spend more time at home with their families. They have an opportunity to work remotely. And Start Virtual is actually a really fun environment for them. I mean, you guys have the monthly town halls, you have all of this engagement activity. I know our bookkeeping team got together in person a couple times, which was really great. I've seen so many
Right.
great friendships formed through the bookkeeping team, some that have lasted, ever since we started the bookkeeping service. And I think that's really great because not only are we providing a service to business owners, but we're also creating like a family environment behind the scenes with all of our virtual assistants. Even though everybody's
Yeah.
working remotely, we all show up to the same meetings, same time, same day, every week, and we all get to keep up with everybody's lives and just kind of
Right.
get to know everybody on a personal level. And I really like that side of the business because it's really rewarding to know that not only are we doing something by creating a scalable business for ourselves, but we're also helping others have opportunities so that they can gain some skills and knowledge of how to work with US business owners.
100%. We're definitely huge when it comes to engagement activities, because I mean it's a gift. It's a blessing to be able to work from home, work remotely, and do the other stuff that you want to do while continuously being productive for your family, for whatever goals you have. But that could also be a curse or a challenge. Uh,
Absolutely.
Balancing that, especially when you're just in your room like almost 24/7.
And the graveyard shift. I don't know how you guys do on a
Right.
graveyard shift.
Yeah, well,
Oh my goodness. I really commend you
true.
all for that.
100%. It's not easy at first, but it's a matter of getting used to for sure. And yeah, I mean, that's why it's very important for us to make sure that on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, we have a way of ensuring that people are motivated. They don't get stressed out so much. That's why we have these HR talks, coffee
I
talks as
love
we
that.
call it. We want to make sure that their well-being is always the priority. We also make sure that we provide healthcare to them
That is
so that yeah, I mean, it's really hard to stay late at night and work at night. The whole lifestyle can cause a lot of potential diseases, illnesses,
right.
and that's what we're trying to avoid. So we're on top of that, and we make sure that everyone's offered a healthcare service so that that's not going to be a cost for them to be unhealthy in the future. And you're right, we want to make sure that we get to meet with them every now and then. We have a monthly town hall where we really celebrate all the achievements, have fun with them a little bit, and talk about updates as well. It's important to them in the business and their clients. And we celebrate wins all the time. We're really big in recognitions in here.
For sure.
And I guess that's why people keeps coming back, even if sometimes they have to leave for whatever personal reason. They want to join the family again.
Of that. I always stress that too, when I'm hosting my Zooms for Sub 2 or any other community that I'm hosting for. I always stress that too. Like, Start Virtual is a really fun place for our team members to work. We're not just, finding you virtual assistants through Upwork and just taking a chance. We really
Right.
have a structured company with Start Virtual, and they enjoy being a part of Start Virtual. Our culture is just amazing. We don't micromanage. We trust that everybody is hired because of their skill set and that they're doing their job, and it shows in the work that they're doing. So that's
100%.
one of the big things for me. Is I came from a company that I had 2 managers that constantly micromanaged me, and it just really kind of affects
Right.
your morale, because it's like, why do you not trust that I'm doing my job? That's what you
Right.
hired for, So, and these 2 people that I worked for, like, they kept everything under lock and key. Like, I couldn't even access a deposit slip to take checks to the bank because they were locked
Right.
up. I'm like, why are you locking the deposit slips? Am I going to steal one and go deposit money in your bank? I mean, come
Right.
on.
That's true. When they sense or they feel that you don't trust them enough to do their job, then that's when you see that productivity is not as good.
Yes,
Remember,
100%.
very recently, just to share, I mean, we used to have this system that we're using to monitor all activities, monitor random screenshots even of what they're doing and stuff. We learn from our staff as well and from our clients. Whatever feedback we get, we take it seriously to make sure that we figure out how we can turn things around. And with that very recent change we did, productivity was at its best because we just remember that we hired people who are qualified and who
Right.
has experience and who are adults even. We don't really
Right.
have to have a surveillance on them. But just make sure that you set expectations of what a positive outcome is or what the goals are. They understand their key performance indicators. They know what success looks like. And as long as the results are what we want, then, we can definitely trust them. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we are here in Star Virtual. We make sure that we listen, and if it makes sense, and we make some policy changes to make better or a better environment for our staff. Definitely, we'll take that into consideration. We're big in surveys.
Yeah.
I guess that's why we have very good online reputation. Nothing below 4.5. In our Trustpilot, Google reviews, Facebook reviews,
Love
even
it.
Glassdoor, because we know how to listen and we know how to take actions real time to address any concerns or challenges that we face. So
Yeah, I love that for sure. Yeah, definitely big on quality for the bookkeeping side too. It's so easy to be known for sloppy bookkeeping, and that's definitely something that I don't want to be known for. And with bookkeeping, you can tell when somebody's not doing their work. So,
Yes.
having the extra monitoring on top of, having to log the QuickBooks time for each client, like I know it was definitely affecting the morale of our team. So once we got rid of that, everything has improved 100%. I mean, they feel more trusted and more valued, and I really love that for them.
Fully agree. And yeah, I think like what you mentioned earlier, since we have those multiple layers of support, which includes quality and compliance, we don't really need any extra stuff that would just make them feel like we don't trust them. So we made a decision, and in return, it saved us a lot on the tools
Yeah.
expenses as well. So which is great. It's always gonna be a win-win, especially when you're listening and you take actions to things that we can improve on that make sense to the business as well.
Right.
And that's how it is. It's ever evolving. There are always gonna be new challenges, new problems, and
For sure.
if you are partnering with a business like Start Virtual, who's constantly observing all these things and are coming up with new solutions when there are new problems that arise, then you can never fail because you don't have to figure it out on your own. Like what we shared earlier, we've been there, we've done that, we've learned from it, and
Yeah.
we know what the recipe for success looks like.
Right. Well, this was awesome, taking a trip down memory lane of how Start Virtual was formed. I always love going back and just, seeing how we started from the beginning to what we've become now. It's really, really awesome to just see the growth and the progress and the team growing as well. One thing I do want to challenge our listeners with is I want you guys to take a deep dive into your business and just identify 1 to 3 tasks that you think that you could delegate to somebody. And then just kind of look at that list and see if there's any potential for partnering with Start Virtual so that we can help get those off of your plate. Because you need to be focused on what you're best at, which is growing your business, networking, connecting with other like-minded individuals, and just offload all of that pesky, tedious stuff to somebody else that actually has the focus and the time to do it for you.
And there is always the fear of the unknown, but you need to start making that decision. Think about those tasks and just realize as well that you are going to be able to save a lot of time that you can spend on really growing your business or really focusing on the important aspects of the business that will help you succeed and achieve your goals sooner than later. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And I hope that you're able to take away a lot of new knowledge. And I hope you're excited as well to learn more about how we can help you here in Start Virtual with some of the tasks that is eating up your time or that's really tedious, or maybe help you with your current business processes as well. And of course, if there's a need for any help with the bookkeeping side of things, Tony here will be more than happy to suggest the best solutions that we can offer.
Yes, I will. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us on our pilot episode. We look forward to producing many, many more episodes for you in the future, and we will see you on the next one.